Chiefs Kingdom, today we answer your questions on the Kansas City Chiefs. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and on today's show, well, we do exactly what I just said. We're going to answer your questions. I asked questions on the YouTube community page from you, the Chiefs fans, the Chiefs Kingdom, the Chiefs Report family, to send some in and ask me what's going on. And we got a bunch. Let's start with vlog time, a staple on these mailbags. He says, do you think that we will go the rest of the season undefeated? Well, I think it's a good question to start off with. Let's look at the Chiefs' remaining schedule and see exactly what's left. So you have the Las Vegas game this Sunday, then the Packers on Sunday Night Football, followed by the Buffalo Bills, the Patriots on Monday night, Vegas again at home in Arrowhead on Christmas morning, Cincinnati past that, and then the Chargers to round out the season. You got a 7-3 record, and here's the thing. You got 7 games left. Honestly, at worst in these games, you have to go 6-1 in these. If you lose more than 2, if you lose more than 1, it's not really looking that great in terms of, I'm not going to say seeding overall, but just the way it is. Because you thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to be a tough game. Joe Burrow's out for the season. I don't exactly think that anymore. The Bills have fired their offensive coordinator this year and are just an absolute mess with turnovers. The defense has been struggling. It's been injury prone as well. And Vegas, you've had their number. The Chargers, you've had their number. Overall, you got to go in here and kind of wipe the business out of the stadium. Plus, the Patriots stink. The Packers stink. Those should be 2 wins on primetime as well. 6-1, I'm hoping for undefeated, but I don't want to guarantee undefeated. That kind of seems like that wouldn't happen if you guarantee it. Next question coming in from OMG for Life, saying, do you think Rashee Rice can take MVS's spot if we cut MVS? Well, if you're saying MVS's spot as in wide receiver 1 or as in wide receiver 2, he already has, to be quite honest with you. That is his spot. He has played about the same percentage of snaps as MVS in the past couple weeks with, well, Marquez Valdes-Scantling basically kind of losing snaps, not because of his drops, being because of just really everything. And honestly, the stats don't lie. The average is there for MVS, but the everything else, not so much. 3 more touchdowns for Rashee Rice, a heck of a lot more receptions, a lot more targets, and the yardage, well, it's pretty in favor of Rashee, almost 200 yards more than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. These 2 receivers, though, were interesting because you asked me at the beginning of the season, I probably would have said Marquez Valdes-Scantling is the better guy. Now, if you ask me at this point, I think it probably is Rashee Rice. So I have a question. I think this may be a little biased just because, obviously, I think there's still a little bit of growing pain from, well, what happened this past Monday with MVS that I'm not even going to talk about. But pick a wide receiver. I just want to hear from the Chiefs Kingdom what y'all are feeling. Type Rashee Rice, the rookie out of SMU, or is it Marquez Valdes-Scantling? Is he the better wide receiver if you could pick? Type MVS. I think I already know the answer to this one, but I just want to see if the Chiefs Report also agrees with me, given that there's drop problems with both of these wide receivers. Boomer Miller comes in with the next question saying, I hope they fired Matt Nagy and then new wide receivers coach because they got to cut MVS. So I like this. I think this is good, but I also think that you're not exactly understanding the offense and really honestly at this point, understanding who calls plays. So this is kind of where I want to talk about the whole offense as kind of a complete unit, not just as a player here, a drop there, a person there. It's actually Andy Reid who calls plays. Andy Reid is the one who ultimately makes the decisions. Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator, and, well, I'm going to say it since he's come in, it hasn't been exactly great. But at the same time, Reid is the play caller over Nagy. He is the guy that ultimately makes the decisions on what to call and when to call it. And quite honest with you, he runs this offense, he runs this team, and overall, he runs this organization in some ways. Andy Reid and Brett Veach are very good friends. They all talk, and they try to stick together in terms of what exactly they're doing on defense, how to go about draft strategies, how about the free agent strategies. So in this case, Reid is always going to be the play caller, and ultimately, he's going to be the one to decide who the ball goes to. Now, for my sake, I hope he goes the ball to Travis Kelce because I got my prize picks on Kelce this week. I want to make sure you check out Prize Picks. That is the sponsor of today's show. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. And with basketball season here, it's the perfect time to start. With now Prize Picks, you can pick combo projections across the NBA and NFL, so you can pick the more on Travis Kelce touchdowns and say the more on Jason Tatum points. Check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Here are my prize picks for the Chiefs game this Sunday. As I've got Josh Jacobs on the less, Devontae Adams on the less, because the defense has been stellar, and honestly, I'm starting to trust them more than the offense. Now, I will say I do trust Travis Kelce, and like I said to start this off, I got my entry on Mr. Kelce. I think he's going to get the touchdown. Prize Picks also offers a reboot policy so that if, say, one of those players were to get hurt, my entry would stay and play. That works for both football and basketball games. And Prize Picks is actually the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. What makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app? Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Let's kind of continue on this whole Andy Reid trade. And this one coming from Rats Off to You, I wanted to kind of include you into this discussion. He said, I thought it was interesting on the Monday Night Football telecast that they listed Andy Reid as the play caller. I think we all agree that our wide receiver issues are a concern, but let's not overlook the careless turnovers. Also, it has become too common for Mahomes to throw a pick into the end zone. You're exactly right. And I think this goes back to the point of how exactly Andy Reid runs the offense. And he wasn't quick to be shy about being angry at Patrick Mahomes, be it angry at Travis Kelce after the Eagles game, and honestly throughout the Eagles game. There was multiple times where he was calling and saying, hey, you got to play better. You got to do this better. Mahomes was hard on himself. Kelce was hard on himself. Overall, this team understands that this offense has to get going. Mahomes even said it in his post-game press conference saying that, listen, the defense is holding this freaking pretty much everybody we played to less than 24 points. If we can just do a little better, just a little better on offense, well, then guess what? We can get this team to another level and have the chance to hopefully go back-to-back. Now, is that going to happen? Well, it can't when you turn the ball over like that. Chiefs and turnovers have not been exactly the greatest this year. Cameron Clark here with this next question saying, are the Chiefs cutting MVS? Well, okay. We did make a video. We talked about cutting MVS, but I kind of looked through this again, and honestly, they're not going to cut him in the season. That's just, first of all, not the way Andy Reid rolls. Second of all, it's not something that would remind me of Brett Veach or something that Brett Veach would do. Now, I can't say for after the season, though, because you have cap space that you need. And MVS is taking up $14 million of that cap space, in which you're going to have to pay Chris Jones, possibly L'Jarius Sneed. You're going to have to go get some wide receiver help. There's a lot of questions coming up this offseason, and I'm going to wait to talk about that till we get there. We hopefully can have a lot of games left to play this season, not just in the regular season, but in the postseason. But I have to say, they're not going to cut him in season. After the season, though, I would really be surprised if he stayed around just because he hasn't played well, and his cap hit is really, really rough. Now, I'm not the speaker of all. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe MVS has a stellar back half of the season and he stays. But right now, I don't think it's going to be long. Next question here comes in from Jeffrey Locke saying, Mahomes throwing an interception in the touchdown zone is as bad as the dropped wide receiver issues. So this kind of goes back to the last point we had here from Rats Off to You. I agree. Mahomes' interceptions are honestly becoming a problem. Like, I've kind of talked about this a little bit, but Mahomes is not really playing like a Mahomes level. Turnovers have been a huge problem. Overall, his play, I mean, it's been helped by the wide receivers dropping balls. And to be quite honest with you, I'd be scared to throw the ball if I had that, but you can't lie with the numbers. The Chiefs have 19 turnovers this season, which is a 6th in the NFL total. They were second last week, though. So the fact that they had 2 turnovers and still only actually went up a couple spots, well, you kind of like that. But at the same time, the turnovers have been absolutely insane, and they need to get worked out because you can have drops, you can have all this, but it's kind of the same point that we talked about earlier in the week. If you have these issues where you're having drops, then you have to play pretty much perfect on every other sense. Like if Patrick doesn't throw that interception and Kelce doesn't fumble the ball inside the red zone both times, the Chiefs win the game, and it's really not a question right now. But instead, the fumble, the pick, the drops all together combined, you get a loss to the Eagles and Nick Sirianni screaming at you as he walks up the tunnel, which I don't even want to get into that. But, oh well, their things are fixable. It's just kind of working towards a whole. Overall, though, this team will get there, and I hope and pray that they will be back into the Super Bowl at the end of the season. We appreciate you watching, and if you want to be on a future mailbag like this, make sure you're subscribed to us and checking that community tab, putting those likes on the videos, liking the community posting, just kind of keeping up here with us on the Chiefs Report. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV, or you can click that little red subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We appreciate all of you, Chiefs Kingdom. I know it takes a little bit of time out of your day, but we're happy you're here. Peace out.